What's up, everybody? Straw hats are cool. Back again with another video. Today we've got a matchup between Rob Lucci and Big Mom. This one was a lot of fun. It was me playing the Rob Lucci against one of the homies playing Big Mom. It was a very close game. I think a couple mistakes were made, and we'll talk about that. But really fun game. Always like playing with the homies. So be getting into the gameplay here shortly, but I do just want to say we're really close to 200 subs. At the time of this recording, I am 2 subscribers away from 200. So if you're enjoying the content, please do consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video. It does mean a lot to me. As I've stated in previous videos, really blown away with the support I've gotten thus far on the channel. Really just been doing this for fun and for my community, but really appreciate everyone else who is stopping by, liking the videos, subscribing to the channel, commenting on the videos. Really does mean a lot. But with that, let's get into the video. So my opponent won the die roll here, choosing to go second, as most yellow players do. I'm just going to have to pass on my first turn with no turn 1 plays. And the Big Mom player is going to be starting with a pudding, looking at the top 4 cards of their deck, and they're going to be revealing the 2K counter Sanji. Really good card, both as a 2K, and it's not even the worst card to play. Just kind of a funny thing me and my friends do, where we put a Dawn on our leader if we have nothing else to do. So going to be starting with a 6K swing at Big Mom. Going to be hitting a Soul Pocus out of life. My friend's playing a bit of a fun variant of the Big Mom deck, running things like Soul Pocus and the homies Prometheus and Zeus for sure. Going to be starting myself with the brand new before passing over to my opponent, grabbing a Sakazuki. Going into my opponent's 4 Dawn turn now. Thinking about what they're gonna do here. So, like I said, running a more fun variant. I don't know if this one is the most competitive. There was in the regional that happened last weekend. There was a Big Mom that did get 4th place, but they were running. They weren't running any of the homies or anything like that. They weren't even running Cracker either, which was a bit of a surprise to me. I was playing around with a list similar, and it does seem really good. So I'll have some videos with myself running my take on the Big Mom deck pretty soon. Opponent's going to be getting a Thunderbolt out of life. Glad I waited to play the Bueno. Just kind of a general tip. When you have attackers, generally speaking, it is right to play your characters first, especially if they're 6K or lower and 5 cost or lower, with things like Thunderbolt and Jet Pistol that you can hit out of life, which can just take out characters as soon as you play them, if you play them before you attack. So dropping down the Prometheus now. This one is able to give Big Mom double attack, so he's going to be resting that to give Big Mom double attack here, swinging 8K double attack, and using that leader effect to swap out the top card of their life. So I do think about countering out of this one. Generally speaking, in the yellow matchup, when playing Rob Lucci, I usually just don't even think too much about it and take just about every hit. That way I can be at 0 before they play their 10-drop Big Mom, and makes it a little more awkward for the opponent to play if you have no life, because now that on-play effect is doing only half of what it's capable of doing. So I usually just take all the life and then try and rely on my blockers and close out the game that way. But was thinking about countering out there, but didn't want to put my hand size too low. So did just choose to take that double attack there. I did hit the Shockwave out of life to KO the Parasparrow. There was a My opponent was going to grab a Sanji, thinking it was like pudding and can grab Sanji as well, but cannot grab Sanji, so just opts to take a 2k pudding, which isn't much different. Pudding can't grab pudding. Sparrow can't grab Sanji, but they can grab the opposite, so didn't make much difference in the end. So I'm on my 7 Dawn turn now. I was about to attack there, but then with my leader, but then decided I should probably attack with the Blue One first because he did stack his life, so there's a good chance that could be a Thunderbolt. And sure enough, he did stack the Thunderbolt on top of his life, so glad I stopped myself and chose to attack with my Blue One first. So thinking about what I'm going to play out here, probably just going to be a Kumadori, basically just replacing itself as another 6k body. Sure enough, that is what we see. Got 6 Dawn left. I'm trying to think what I could do here. Not really anything worth hitting with. Sakazuki. Could just, we're going to attack with leader. Maybe play another Bueno. I think I had another Bueno, so maybe a 5k attack and Bueno here. So starting off with the 5k, opponent is probably going to counter out of that one. Don't want to get too low on life just yet. So we see Brule coming out to counter out of that one. And yeah, looks like that's going to be the Bueno. So Bueno, really annoying card. You can have it, generally speaking, I won't leave it up as a blocker at the end of the game if it can attack, but if there's scenarios where I'm afraid of getting lethal, I will leave it up. So generally just using it as an attacker though. Did have the Katakuri there on their 8 Dawn turn, going to be putting the Bueno on the bottom of my life. Personally, I think I probably would have put it on the top, and we will get into why here in a minute. But now my opponent is swinging 5k, and I'm just going to counter out with a Kumadori. So I'm on my 9 Dawn turn now. Getting low on life, so this is going to be the turn where generally I'm probably going to start playing out my blockers now that I've got my opponent down somewhat low on life. Put on pressure and then usually just try to play down those blockers once they are feeling safe. Gonna attack for 6. Probably gonna drop a 2k there, the pudding they grabbed earlier. 7k now. Also going to count out of that one, given 2 cards from hand. And now I'm going to be dropping both a Borsellino and a Fukuro, 2 blockers that the opponent cannot deal with. So going to be safe for at least another turn with what they've got going on now. Now I'm going to pause the video right here and talk about what's about to happen. So my opponent here opts to, this is their 10 Dawn turn, and they start by swinging with the Katakuri at my life, which I am going to take here in a moment. But I want to talk about, me and my opponent talked about this after the game as well, but in a scenario like this, I would probably have played the Big Mom first, because he does have the 10 drop in hand. Now, like I said, I probably would have put the Blue One on top, and the reason is because the first thing I'd probably start by doing is playing the 10 drop to trash the top card of my opponent's life and then heal one. And so that would just get rid of the Blue One outright. Now, given the scenario here, I do think maybe attacking with the Katakuri is correct. I can take that one, then they can play the 10 drop, but I'm going to go ahead and start playing the clip now so we can see what happens next. So I do take that one, and I am anticipating the 10 drop Big Mob, but then my opponent decides to attack with the leader first, and this now gave me an opportunity to just take that life. So now I'll be at 0 life, and like I said, it's like a lot worse to play your Linlin when your opponent's at 0 life, because half of the effect just doesn't get to happen anymore. So bit of a mistake on my opponent's part, But like I said, we talked about it after, and I do think that if things were sequenced differently, the outcome of the game would have been different. But let's get back into it now. So I'm on my 10 Dawn turn now. My opponent's still got 3 life and 2 really big bodies on board, and I'm at no life. I've got a pretty healthy hand size, but am going to need to start putting on some pressure here because I probably might be able to live the next turn, but if I'm not, I'm going to lose on the crackback for sure. So taking a minute to think about what I'm going to do here. My opponent only has 3 cards in hand, so should be able to get a hit or 2 in here. I'm going to start with the 7k swing with Kumadori. Biggest thing I don't want to see here is a Thunderbolt out of life, because that would be able to KO the Borsellino, as the immunity is only on my turn, or on my opponent's turn. So on my turn, my Borsellino is not safe from trigger effects. So opponent takes both hits here and does trigger a Zeus out of life. And now I'm going to play that Blueno that I got back from my life. And so I do end up winning this game, I'll let you know right now. But I think that if I had not gotten that Blueno back, I would have lost that game, because I do think I needed the 3 blockers here to survive another turn. So like I was talking about before with the Big Mom's last turn, sequencing there does matter. And I think if it was sequenced a little differently and they were able to trash the Blueno for my life, I don't think I would have been able to close out this game, because I know I didn't have any other blockers in my hand, so I didn't have much else to do. So they're thinking about what they're going to do now. They definitely do need to try and go for game here. If not, they're probably just going to lose on the next turn. And I've got no life, but I do have the 3 blockers. Would have been really good for the Big Mom player here if they had a Thunderbolt, as the Thunderbolt would be able to KO the Blueno and probably be enough for them to secure the game. But we have already seen 2 of those played. So going to be starting with a 7k swing with Zeus. Probably going to counter out that one. I do have a pretty large hand right now. So counter out with a 2 and a 1. So next up, I think we're getting another 7k swing here with the Prometheus. Going to counter out of that one as well, if I remember correctly. So we still got 5 cards left in hand. This will put me down to 3. So yep, we're going to drop Suru and Isuka. Going to have another 7k swing come out. And now I'm feeling okay, because I do have 3 blockers and they've got no Dawn left. And I still have the 3 blockers to their 3 attackers. So shouldn't be any way I can lose this turn. Just going to block all these attacks here. And then on Blueno's KO, I'll be able to get that Kumadori that I countered out with earlier back. So I've still got 2 6k bodies here. Now, like I said, if I didn't have the Blueno there, I think I just lost. I don't think I had enough to counter out of the leader's 7k attack. So probably would have lost if sequencing was different earlier, but still ends up being really close for me. My opponent's got 5 cards in hand now, and we're going to see I'm going to start with a 7k swing with the Kumadori, and the opponent is going to counter out of that one with 2 cards. So that Sanji and the Shirahoshi. And now I was in a position here where I was just about to go like all in with my leader and then attack one of the small bodies with my Kumadori to restand the leader. But then I think that there could be a Brule in the life, and if I do that, I might just lose. So opt not to, and it was a good thing I didn't, because they did have the Brule in their life. Now, I'm going to pause here again, because watching this clip back, I was trying to remember why I played the Garp instead of just swinging with the Kumadori, because they probably would have had to block it. So my opponent had 3 cards in hand. Now, at most, with 3 cards in hand and no Dawn open, the most my opponent could have is 6k in counter. Now, I had 5 Dawn left standing, and they had a blocker. So my thought process here was that I'd need to be able to swing 11 twice in order to completely secure the game with my Kumadori and Lucci. With the 5 Dawn I had left, I would only be able to swing a 10 and a 11. So I wouldn't be able to do the 2 11s. And if they did happen to have 3 2k counters left in hand, then I lose, because I attack with the Kumadori, and they can counter out if I swing 10. If I swing 11, they block, but then I can only swing 10 with leader, and they can counter out of that one. So what I opt to do is play the Garp to KO the Brule, because I had 3 cards in hand. So we play Garp, KO the Brule. Now I've got a 9k swing and a 6k swing. And because of that, they've only got 3 cards in hand. They're going to have to give 1 for Kumadori, which would only leave 2 cards left in hand, meaning the 9k swing is guaranteed to go through. So little thing, wouldn't have mattered in the end, as my opponent only had 2k left in counter. But those are just little things that I try and think about, to secure the best route possible for closing out the game. So like I said, just a little thing there. Really fun game. Shout outs to my homie for a good game there. But that is all I have for today. Again, thank you so much for watching. Like I said, really close to 200 subscribers, so really would appreciate it if you drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video. Trying to have a video release every 2 or 3 days. Might slow down a little in the next couple weeks, as I am a full-time teacher for my profession, and will be starting up school again here in about 2 weeks. With that, I thank you so much for watching. Peace.